Have you ever looked around and felt like life is scripted? Same days, same thoughts, same results. No matter how hard you push, something invisible holds you back. You wake up, show up, repeat. But deep down, a quiet voice whispers, this isn't all there is. It's not that you're lost. It's that you've been running a program you didn't choose. A mental matrix built from beliefs you never questioned, rules you never wrote, and patterns that never truly fit. And here's the part no one tells you. You helped build it. Every time you accepted a limit without asking why. Every time you believed someone else's version of what's possible. The walls tightened without making a sound. But what if freedom isn't about breaking out, but waking up? What if one conscious thought, one bold internal command, is enough to crack the code? Not by force, not by escaping life, but by escaping the illusions within the mind. Because suggestion isn't just influence, it's creation. And once you learn to use it on yourself, the matrix starts to bend. If you're ready to remember who authored your reality, keep watching. They say reality is shaped by belief. But few ask, where did those beliefs come from? They weren't born in your heart. They were installed, quietly, slipped into your subconscious through repetition, tradition, and trust. Your parents didn't mean to limit you. Neither did your teachers, friends, or favorite voices online. But their words became your inner script, not all at once, but gradually, until you stopped realizing you were reading lines written by someone else. And here's the twist. The program hides by pretending to be truth. It sounds like this is just how life works. Some people succeed, some don't. Change takes time. Be realistic. These aren't facts, they're suggestions, disguised as laws. And once your subconscious accepts them, they become your rules. Not because they're true, but because they were never questioned. You live them, you obey them, and eventually, you forget they were ever optional. That's the matrix, not a machine, but a mental operating system, not enforced by chains, but by repetition. So the struggle you feel, the stagnation, the invisible wall, it's not life resisting you, it's old code looping silently. But here's the breakthrough. What was installed can be uninstalled, because every belief you carry, at some point, you agreed to it, even if unconsciously. And if you can accept a suggestion, you can reject one, you can rewrite one. This is where the matrix starts to flicker, not with force, but with awareness, not with effort, but with one quiet moment of, wait, what if that's not true anymore? That's when the real shift begins. The first wall of the matrix isn't made of steel. It's made of imagination. Not theirs, yours. You assign meaning to every moment, to delays, to silence, even to the reflection staring back at you. Your subconscious listens, always, and reality adjusts to match what it hears. That's the real trick of the matrix. It makes you forget that you're the one speaking inside your own mind. But the moment you remember, you become the author again, and awareness becomes the chisel that chips away at the illusion. Over a century ago, William Walker Atkinson named 5 subtle architects of belief: authority, association, imitation, habit, repetition, not theory, mechanics. These are the gears of programming. One harsh word from a parent, one truth spoken by a teacher, a social trend followed without question, a behavior repeated long after it stopped serving you. Each slips in unnoticed, but sinks deep into your subconscious. And from there, it begins to shape your world. Suggestion becomes conviction. Conviction becomes perception. And perception becomes the boundaries of your reality. Take authority, for example. The human mind tends to bow to whatever sounds confident, institutional, certain. But most authority is just a mask, a voice trained in delivery, not truth. And when you stop questioning it, that voice becomes law. You might live an entire lifetime ruled by someone else's conviction. The Matrix feeds on this silence, but your intuition always knows. It sends signals, a hesitation you can't explain, a discomfort you can't ignore, a quiet voice whispering, "This isn't right." The more you listen, the more the structure starts to shake. Then comes association. Your mind links past experiences and treats them like prophecy. You fail once, and the memory attaches to a sound, a place, even a color. From then on, the pattern repeats without your permission. But these associations aren't permanent. They were suggested, and what was suggested can be resuggested. Every time you assign new meaning to an old memory, you unhook your past from your present. Repetition becomes your ally, not your prison. You're not just remembering, you're rewiring. And that's the quiet revolution. Your mind isn't passive. It's not a sponge. It's a storyteller. You decide what anything means. You choose which role to play. You choose who you are. Suggestion is the seed. Planted with intention, it blossoms into belief. And belief reshapes everything. No voice, not from authority, not from memory, holds more power than the one inside you right now. So suggest boldly and watch the world bend to meet your words. The Matrix isn't flawless. It has a back door, and it's been waiting for you to use it. But it doesn't open with effort. It opens with something far more powerful. A bold suggestion, spoken not in fear, but in truth. Not a wish, not a whisper, but a clear command that comes from the deepest part of you. The part that still remembers who you were before the programming. When you ask yourself, what one move would change everything? You're not just asking a question. You're issuing an activation. The moment you answer honestly, you break through the illusion of limitation. A bold move isn't always loud. It doesn't have to be risky, flashy, or big. Sometimes, the most revolutionary act is the one that feels too simple to matter. Like walking away from something that drains you, starting the thing you've delayed for years, finally choosing you. The action itself is just a surface. Its real power lies underneath, in what it symbolizes. The exact moment your mind stops obeying the old script and begins writing a new one. That's when your reality takes notice, because it has no choice. It must follow the frequency you now emit. Fear will often greet you at the door. But that's not a warning, it's a signpost. Fear doesn't mean stop, it means you're getting close. Joseph Campbell once said, "The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek." That cave isn't out there, it's within, and the treasure is not success or status. It's freedom from the false self. Every quantum leap demands a meeting with fear, not to fight it, but to finally realize that it only had power because you believed it did. Walk in anyway, and you'll find that fear fades, and clarity stands in its place. Repetition is what once kept you locked in, but repetition, used consciously, is what sets you free. Suggest to yourself a new identity. Repeat it not like a wish, but like a vow. With emotion, with vision, with certainty. and your mind will obey. From that moment forward, it stops doubting and starts creating. The subconscious begins its silent work, reconfiguring your external world to match your new internal command. Where you once saw walls, you now see doors. Where you once felt stuck, you now feel sovereign. This isn't fantasy. It's not magic. It's mechanics. The same energy that kept you small now lifts you beyond what you thought was possible. All it takes is one bold suggestion, the kind that doesn't beg for permission. It rewrites the world. Once you see the illusion, you can never unsee it. Suddenly, everything carries weight. Words, glances, headlines, even the silence between sentences. But something deeper shifts. You begin to notice how you respond. No longer absorbing meaning without question, you become deliberate, like an artist carving truth out of stone. Suggestion is no longer your master, it becomes your tool. And with this shift, awareness walks beside you, always. Every space becomes a mirror, showing you what you still carry within. The opinions of others, once absorbed without resistance, now meet the strength of your inner authority. You begin to ask, is this aligned with who I choose to be? And just like that, a line is drawn between the conditioned and the awake. Mastery isn't about hiding from the world. It's about choosing what reaches you and what no longer gets in. The world keeps talking, but now you choose what to believe. Imitation becomes visible. You see it in every trend, every movement, every ideology. Where once you followed, now you pause and ask, where does this lead? This is not disconnection, it's discernment. You still draw wisdom from others, but never at the cost of your authenticity. The Matrix uses imitation to shape identity without your consent. But when you see that mechanism clearly, you reclaim your birthright to self-create. Habit 2 is no longer fate, it's code. You realize your routines aren't just actions, they're affirmations in motion, repeating who you believe you are. And with that awareness, freedom opens. Each small act becomes an invitation to write a new line of code. From the way you wake to the way you speak, everything becomes a vessel for transformation. Repetition, once the Matrix's tool, now becomes your sacred ally. The difference? Intention. Repeat a limitation, and you reinforce a cage. Repeat an empowering truth, and you build a ladder. You begin to listen differently to your words, to your thoughts, to the spaces you allow yourself to live in. If the world echoes lack, you echo abundance. If it says wait, you say now. The subconscious doesn't resist repetition, it obeys it. And through this obedience, belief becomes form. Imagination becomes experience. What once felt like a prison of patterns now becomes a playground of possibility. The 5 forces once used to program you, authority, association, imitation, habit, repetition, no longer define you, they empower you. When used consciously, they allow you to shape reality, not from the outside, but from within. You don't escape the system by fighting it. You dissolve it by no longer needing it. You see clearly. You speak truth. You move boldly. And with every conscious suggestion, you step deeper into the role you were always meant to play, the architect of your own reality. The Matrix isn't guarded by walls. It isn't enforced by chains. It's built from something far more subtle, beliefs you never thought to question. It lives in quiet self-doubt, in cultural norms passed down without reflection, in the voice in your head that says, this is just the way life is. What keeps you bound isn't a lack of power. It's the invisible script, written years ago, by suggestion, not truth. But the most powerful truth is this: you can rewrite it. You always could. The so-called quantum hack is not complicated. It begins the moment you become aware of what you're telling yourself and choose to tell yourself something new. One suggestion, that's all it takes. One clear, conscious command accepted as truth can undo decades of limitation and rewire the entire story. So don't sit with the question forever. Answer it right now. What is the one bold suggestion that, if fully accepted in this moment, would shatter the old pattern completely? That's the lever. That's the door. And once you claim it, life moves. The world reorganizes around the identity you've chosen. Your thoughts become the brush. Your words become the tool. And what once felt like a cage becomes a canvas, waiting for your design. If this message resonated with you, know that you are not alone. You've already begun the shift just by opening your mind to the truth of your power. Take a moment to reflect. What is the bold suggestion that will rewrite your story? If you feel ready, subscribe to this journey of transformation. Let's walk this path together, where every thought you choose becomes a step towards freedom. Feel free to like and comment. Share your insights and breakthroughs, because your voice is part of the collective shift. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss another moment of awakening. We're just beginning. Remember, you are the architect of your reality. Everything you seek is already within you.